What is going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Hero or Zero. This is the Heroes for Hire podcast. We are back again talking one comic book character as we do every single week. We talk their good points and their bad points, and we generally just give you a bit of a rundown of everything to do with that character. I am joined as always by my best man, Mr. Shaun. Me and Shaun, how's it going?
Good, Conor. It's very warm in this room and I'm wearing the heaviest jeans in the world, you'll be delighted to know.
Yeah. Now, Shaun is going to try and gather sympathy, even though he knows that I am sick currently, but he's going to, because Shaun is like the fan favourite of the host, so he kind of like always wants to one-up me.
Golden boy, I've been called hero, saviour of the pod.
I know, I'm like, I got into a car crash, you're like, I've had a tough day too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What about my troubles, Conor?
So, Shaun, a lot of people will get to hear all about your troubles this Saturday, tomorrow, Shaun, because we are having a Patreon listener hangout, if anyone is interested. So,
and I'm going to use it as a really fucked up form of group therapy, where I just talk to everyone.
But he's not going to give us any money. It's a bit of an unfair situation.
Heavens no.
So, well, how it works is all the patrons get invited to a Google Meet call with us, and it'll start at 1:30 Irish time. So we don't know what that translates to in your area. I don't know where you're from, but like there's people from Australia, people from America, people from Canada, all over the place. UK and Ireland.
We're a global pod at the end of the day.
We've one person from each country.
That's all we need.
So like we have it's 1:30 Irish time. You just log in, you have an invite already if you are a patron, so you can just check your whatever email you signed up with, the invite is there. You can join through that link, and if you're not a patron and you would still like to come along, and I know it's only tomorrow, so but maybe you have none, all you gotta do is just send us a message on any of the social media platforms, and just let us know, hey, this is my email, I'd love to get invited to the show. Even if you're not a patron, we can make special arrangements, maybe nudge sneak a few extra people in there, you know, if you're super nice about it.
You can get through like the back door of the pub kind of a thing. You don't need ID, you can just come on in as long as you're cool.
Not with those shoes, fuck off. That's what I said to most people. But Shaun, originally this week, I wanted us to get started. By the way, actually, Shaun, should we give everyone a thank you? And you have to now start doing facts. A lot of people have been messaging this week asking for facts. And Shaun doesn't know I'm about to tell him this, and he's struggling big time. Don't Google it, Shaun. I want it from the top of your head. Shaun, what happened on Monday of this week?
Yeah, the Pope died, I think.
And there was a new rebirth of an idea.
It's this week on Monday we hit our long attested goal of 150 5-star reviews on Spotify for the Heroes for Hire podcast, and we're very, very, very grateful to everyone who contributed to that.
Yeah. And Shaun is still Googling, even though I told him not to. This was, originally we were meant to have 150 5-star reviews before the summer solstice. So that is the 21st of June. And we set that goal maybe, I think, 6 weeks ago. And we set it a bit far out, but we were like, it's a pretty big gap. We'll get to 150. That's a pretty good number on Spotify. We've hit it, I would say, maybe nearly 7 weeks early. So that is a testament to everyone who... Is it just everyone who's tuned in, thank you so much. But that also means, Shaun, that Shaun promised that once we hit 150, he would give facts about the solstice on a weekly basis. So, Shaun, I would like one summer solstice fact, if you will.
Well, Conor, actually, I will say Googling it, absolutely fucking useless, by the way. Because, you know, the fact it gave me was no one knows who discovered the solstice.
We did.
We're in charge of it now. Actual solstice fact, it used to be the longest day of the year, now it's not the longest day of the year anymore because the earth moved.
Fuck it. I want them uplifted. I want uplifted facts.
Well, you can fucking tune in next week, you know.
Yeah, so we are currently at 151, so we can change the rules slightly and say for every one 5-star review we get over 150, Shaun will give you a fact.
Yes, 100% we can do that.
Yes.
Now, they might not be true, but they'll be facts.
So, if 152, Shaun has to get another fact. 153, Shaun has to get another. We can really ruin this man's day and maybe his life.
I mean, look, it'll take more than Solstice facts to ruin my life, personally.
That's my secret cap. My life's already ruined.
I have a wonderful life full of wonderful people.
So Shaun, this week with Hero Zero, I was going to do a massive storyline wide report.
Oh!
Yes.
So we're pivoting into storylines now, are we?
So what I was going to do was I was inspired by what you did with Secret Wars over the last few
Conor,
weeks.
It's flattering to hear, really, please.
Okay, now
so
I'm going to take it back. Shut the fuck up. I was inspired, and mostly I would say the word bullied by the listeners on all the social media that we use, this Blue Sky, on the Facebook group especially, people saying, well, Shaun did this and Shaun's so great. Conor, what are you going to do, you little bitch boy? Was kind of the vibe I was getting.
And I apologise for making those comments.
All of your alt accounts. But it was a bit unfortunate. But what that meant was, in my head, I was thinking, okay, pressure's on, Con. You can't let the people down. You have to do a big storyline report. But then I realised that the story I want to do involves a character that I covered many years ago. And I don't know if the report exists or if the audio on the episode is good.
Interesting. Okay, so I think that's a fine reason, because with the stories, it's way easier if people just have a base of all the characters going in rather than explaining them in the moment.
And obviously the storyline I'm going to include has Batman in it, so I don't need to cover Batman, I don't think. Robin is also there, so I feel like he doesn't need to be covered. Yeah.
We've all met orphans before, Conor.
Just imagine an orphan. That's one of them. Right? And so, Shaun, what I'm going to be doing this week is a character, and I hope this isn't too long, is Black Mask. Roman Sionis is who I'm going to be covering.
I think that episode's fully deleted now. That was early-ish in the
It's either deleted or it was just before the pandemic hit, and that means I think we did it in your house years and years back.
Wow.
Yeah, like a long time ago. So it's a long time, so I felt like it was good to update everything. And I feel like now I can do a proper report on this character, because it's one that he can be very good in some people's eyes. He's a big fan favourite because he can be quite funny. But simultaneously I think a lot of people also don't like him because he can be a bit boring as well, depending on who's writing him and what direction they take him in. And also he was in Birds of Prey, played by Ewan McGregor.
I was just going to say, Birds of Prey, is that an accurate reflection of Black Mask as a character?
I like an unhinged Black Mask who can be part of the silly, but he's not in the silly. So there's a great example of Batman Under the Red Hood, the animated movie. And I think he says something along the lines of, when you find Batman and that Red Hood guy, we're going to throw a big party for him. And by party I mean a big group of guys who are going to kick the shit out of him or something like that. Right?
I remember that line. That's great.
Like that kind of level of just like stupidity, but also I don't know if he's part of the joke, but he says funny things that can be really amusing to like henchmen. He spends a lot of the time like slapping his fucking henchmen across the head, like that's a fucking stupid idea. What are we doing here?
Yeah, and he is most of the time regular man with a mask.
Regular man with a mask, but crime lord, definitely crime lord. So his first appearance was in August 1985 in Batman 386, and his creators were Doug Munch and Tom Mandrake. So it's no real secret that Batman has some of the best villains in the DC universe. So you got Joker, Mr. Freeze, Bane, Scarecrow, Two-Face, the list goes on. But Batman also has the most, I would say, mirror villains, in which bad guys who are just him but have different stories slightly with a different path in their life.
Yeah, okay. Like Batman chose good, they chose crime.
the tragic backstory turns into either heroics or I'm going to kill everyone. So the Sionis family was another incredibly wealthy and powerful family in the upper echelon of Gotham society. There seems like there's fucking hundreds of them, so nobody's poor apparently.
The wealth disparity in the Gotham fucking economy is insane.
There's thousands of rich families, and then there's like, I don't know, 10 fucking poor families. so they had less money than the Waynes, but they were still pretty high up there. And they also paled in comparison to the Waynes in terms of the child rearing, is what I would say. So their son Roman was dropped on his head moments after he was born. Now, rather than be upset at the potential brain damage that their son, who had just been born, had suffered, the Sionises were more concerned about covering up the incident so that it wouldn't affect the family's reputation. They couldn't be embroiled in some sort of, I don't know, legal stuff with the hospital.
Yeah. You can't. You don't want to be, if you're a successful, wealthy family, but not quite the most. You don't want to be the family that drops babies.
So they basically didn't do anything. And they just said, no, that's fine. They didn't want to. It's all about the reputation. And Roman's life was a confusing one. Countless times, his parents would don masks of courtesy and respect for similarly wealthy and influential guests that they privately loaded. So secretly hate people, but wow, they have all their P's and Q's. They're all super nice. Oh my God, it's so nice to meet you. Thank you so much for coming. It's absolutely great.
They're putting on a show to ingratiate themselves in upper society.
And a mask, if you will, Shaun.
I won't.
So that will really impact this report. So soon Roman grew resentful of both the masks and the family's high society friends, in quotation marks, not to mention his parents themselves, who would often pressure him into donning the mask as well. They were also very vocal about their dislike of the Waynes at home, but acted like best friends in public. We all have one of them, isn't that right, Shaun? And kind of what? I would say actually I'm quite mean to you in public as well.
True. There's no, and I'm nothing but love for you personally.
Fucking hell, why are you always doing this? The fan favourite character, I hate him so much.
I'm the face, you're the heel. This is how it works.
I'm just a normal guy.
I'm just like you.
The peasants. So they had the same feelings for a young Bruce Wayne. So they want Bruce and Roman to be best friends. His parents are like, you have to be best friends with Bruce because we're best friends with the parents, even though we think they're dickheads. And Bruce is also a dickhead. For appearances, Roman grew resentful of both the Wayne family via osmosis from his parents and his parents, who he felt were hypocrites because they were more concerned about the public masks than they were about him and his life.
Interesting. Whereas the Waynes, depending on who's writing them and stuff, but a lot of the time they're just good people who have.
I'll be honest with you, most of the time the Waynes are portrayed as like Mary Magdalene and Jesus.
Right. Yeah. Can do no wrong. Like
they're the greatest people that have ever lived. They're God's gifts that have come down and hailed us.
Like it is a national tragedy when they're killed in that alley.
Basically. And then you have a story where they're like, oh, they were actually a dickhead every so often, but most of the time they're like, oh my God, how holy the angels have come. So when Roman was 12, he was taken on his first camping trip to the country estate, where his lifelong obsessions with masks would truly begin. This is a bit of a loose one. As he was bitten by a rabid raccoon, Shaun, a creature trapped in a lifelong mask.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
You know what? There's like such a good backstory and origin, and then some writer included that one story, and I was like, that's funny enough that I'm going to throw it into this report, but it's not what I think of. But it's really funny that the writer was like, what could have bitten him that has a mask?
What animal, what creature wears a mask? I have it.
So a rabid raccoon bites him, and just like The Raven McCrew, by the way, is said to be trapped in a lifelong mask, just like he himself believed he was as well.
That's 4 o'clock on a Friday kind of pitching.
So
his parents walk out of a theatre, they're gunned down in an alley. It was 1996. Jim Carrey's The Mask.
So after high school, Roman was put into a high-ranking position at the family's cosmetics firm, Janus Cosmetics. Hooray for nepotism, Shaun. Roman started a relationship with a working-class secretary named Cersei, who worked there. Now, the problem with this is, his parents appalled. Their son would pursue a relationship with Shaun, one of your people, the peasants.
Folks, we can rise up against him whenever you want. We have the power. We are many, they are few.
I think I have less money than you.
Oh, brother, I'm paying for all kinds of wedding stuff at the minute.
Okay, good. So, what would the neighbours think, Shaun, if they found out that their son was dating this fucking just a normal
this
woman?
Trollop from the stalls.
She grew up in a house with one bathroom. What a dickhead. So they gave him an ultimatum: either break up with Cersei or kiss his job and his inheritance goodbye. Infuriated that they had once again put their social standing over his happiness, Roman decided to do the only logical thing. He burned down the mansion, killing the boat while trapping them inside it.
Fuck, and now he's homeless too.
Apparently, the arson investigators found nothing, but it said that they maybe found a large bag of money with a card that said this never happened on it. If so,
how did the money not burn, Conor?
Roman points there, Shaun.
Oh, after the flame.
He poured in their forehead and then he covered it in petrol.
Oh, fuck. He's wearing a sad mask.
A sad raccoon bites him. Which allowed Roman to take control of the family business and stay with Cersei as well. The problem with all this, Shaun, is, especially with nepotism, is it turns out that Roman had no idea how to actually run a company that dealt with makeup. Just not very good at it.
He was never taught anything. He was just
He was just bitten by raccoons. So he was never bitten by a fashion-forward raccoon.
And over.
However, Roman soon proved himself to be a poor businessman, refurnishing the four of the 5 companies' offices as private apartments for himself and Cersei. So, first and foremost, good stuff.
Why do you need? So he's a landlord as well.
Shaun loves him. This guy started to sound like a villain. The final office was used as a storeroom for Roman's new obsession, masks, that he was collecting from every corner of the world. So Roman's hobby would soon spill over into his work as he pressed his subordinates to market a new line of extreme brightly coloured makeup that were in effect liquid masks. The new line failed spectacularly and Roman was disgraced in the eyes of his employees, so stocks are plummeting. Desperate to improve their revenues, he began throwing money at the research and development department, urging them to invent something new.
This is weirdly is Roman Sionis Elon Musk in this scenario? Just completely unqualified in telling smarter
I think
people,
he's less of a cunt.
What? Fair. And this man burned down his mansion and killed his parents.
Yeah, still.
You can't really burn down an emerald mine, can you?
No, you can't. He tried, I'm assuming. To Roman's joy, Janus's scientists soon created a new 100% waterproof makeup, which Roman hastily and aggressively marketed to the public, ignoring all the pleas that it was still experimental and they had to test it first. He said, fuck that, get it out in the streets.
Put it on your face.
Put it on your face. So this is the Catwoman plot from 2003. And so it was... However, the makeup proved to be a highly dangerous toxin, permanently disfiguring several hundred consumers across Gotham before it got retracted. The company now is going into bankruptcy, and Bruce Wayne steps in. Good old Brucey.
Hero, just like his parents, you know. What a lovely guy.
He wanted to help save Janus Cosmetics. I'm unsure if Bruce realised that Roman hated him or not, but regardless, Bruce knew that Roman was an incompetent businessman and insisted that Roman surrender control to him and allow Bruce to appoint his own board of directors. Also, Cersei broke up with him at this time. So, not a good day or week for old Romy.
He's still got the room full of masks, though, and that'll be that's going to pay off.
He was completely humiliated to just this whole... Everything here just completely humiliated him. In a true sociopathic function, Roman refused to admit that his recent failures were his own fault. And he broke into the cemetery where his parents were buried to yell at their corpses as they lay there.
Sounds like a mentally stable move to me, personally.
Not 100% on this, but I'm pretty sure there was liquor involved, but I'm not quite sure. Before he could break down or break open the tomb, however, a lightning bolt struck him, knocking him into a nearby headstone. Somehow he survived, despite the combination of electric shocks and, I assume, concussion. But he then took this experience as an omen and a rebirth for Roman. He decided to reinvent himself. He got into the tomb, smashed his father's coffin, it was an ebony coffin. He smashes it with a big rock. He then carves a chunk of black wood into a skull and places the new mask onto his head, dubbing himself the Black Mask.
Okay, that's kind of metal as fuck.
I knew he was going to come back.
That's dumb as hell, but it's real cool.
Roman would spend the next several days in hiding, preparing for his rebirth.
Also, sorry, would you like an ebony fact? Now for Sean's 5-minute ebony fact. He doesn't have any fucking solstice facts, but fuck me, he's come up with ebony facts. Okay. So the more frequently you work with ebony, the more you become allergic to it. This has been Sean's ebony facts.
Is there a jingle?
No, there's no more jingles anymore.
Ebony facts with Sean. After our ebony facts, we're back to the regularly scheduled programming, and so he comes back and he gathers all of his money and he gathers all of his stuff that he has, and he decides he's going to become a crime lord, as you do, called Black Mask.
But I mean, he's got the branding down, first of all. But it is one of these things where he has all of these resources and he just immediately says crime.
Well, because I suppose the thing is, it's Bruce Wayne's mirror, so he's going crime instead of good. He was easily able to gather a legion of followers from the ranks of Gotham's underworld, just paying a lot of them quite a lot of money to join him. And he then starts a new society called the False Face Society. It was highly distinctive and pretty cult-like. Each member wore a different mask, which Black Mask himself assured would recreate the wearer's personalities into stronger ones. So very like Riddler from the Batman movie, that like you put on the mask and you could become your true self and do like the crimes that you want to do.
That's pretty cool, and it's way cooler coming from Black Mask rather than Riddler.
100%, yes. And so he was also, his base was the family crypt. That was his base for the crimes.
Again, I'm back in.
So the False Face Society soon buried Gotham beneath a crime wave, attracting the attention of both the police and some guy called Batman, who was not too happy with this.
Well, I mean, Conor, Batman's an illegal vigilante. Okay, we shouldn't. He's
never going to catch Black Mask. He's a legend. Right? As the forces of law and order began to piece together Black Mask's true identity, the crime lord pursued his vendetta against those who wronged him. So he eventually went around all of the Wayne-appointed executives, forcing each of them to don a mask laced with the failed waterproof makeup, and the toxic chemicals just made short work of each of them, leaving their faces horrifically disfigured after a painful death. So he's going around one by one,
just melting faces off people.
melted faces off and masks, yes. So this done, he then kidnapped Cersei from her new career as a model and forced her to don a mask laced with the diluted form of the makeup, sparing her life but permanently disfiguring her face.
That's petty as fuck.
Black Mask then demanded that Cersei rejoin him or face the full facial treatment that he was going to do. Left with no choice, Cersei agreed and was given a mannequin mask intentionally designed to mock her former life.
That's awful.
Yes.
And she, like, at the time when they were together, she genuinely did, like, love and care for him. But then he went insane.
Well, she did leave him when he started losing all that money. So, I mean...
But was that not because he really rushed out that cosmetics production?
Oh, yeah, he did a load of really horrible stuff. Yeah, no, you're fair dues. Yeah.
You know, yeah. Also, he was a broke-ass bitch, but other than that...
Batman, being a badass, figures out Robe and his black mask pretty quickly. He then sets a trap in the form of Masquerade Ball, and Black Mask shows up because he realises that obviously Bruce Wayne is going to be his next target. If he kills all the executives and Cersei, he's coming for Bruce Wayne. So Bruce Wayne sets up a Masquerade Ball, knowing that Black Mask and the crew are going to show up. Black Mask, of course, shows up with the crew. Bruce is like, finally! And then Bruce turns into Batman, but fights off a lot of them, and Roman runs away. He runs away from the Bruce Wayne, or from the ball. And he runs back to his family mansion, intent on purging himself of the last remaining bits of Roman psionics, because he's blaming that part of himself for his failures. Still,
he sees that as like, that's the weak part of me, but Black Mask is real strong.
Yeah.
So he's still doing what his parents were doing, and he's wearing a mask to pretend to be something else.
I don't get it, Sean. I need a raccoon to give me the idea.
That raccoon, radioactive.
He burns what's left of his room, giving himself a confidence boost that lasted just long enough for him to walk outside and see all of his cronies knocked out at Batman and Robin's feet. So, mansion's on fire, all of his cronies are down. Still being a coward, Black Mask then runs back into the burning house. Words cannot describe how stupid this move is. He gets caught under a piece of burning wreckage, and heat horribly burns his face and fuses the mask to his face.
So now he's fully locked in. He's Black Mask all the time.
He's always Black Mask. It's not a mask anymore if it's just his face.
Yeah, it's his real face. That's pretty good. That's Doctor Doom shit.
And so now he hates both Bruce Wayne and Batman when he gets sent to Arkham.
Little does he know, same guy.
Yeah. He could save a lot of time just by killing one guy. He solves two problems. So by Batman 494, Black Mask has returned to his crime, his whole crime stuff. He's now a crime lord rising quickly through all of the underworld. And he's really starting to make a name for himself. There's a really funny story where Bruce, I think, goes undercover and becomes one of the crew with the masks, and he becomes a guy called Skullface. But Black Mask, halfway through the story, realises that Skullface is clearly a spy, and so he kidnaps Lucius Fox, and he's like, I'm going to kill you right now. And he's just consistently that Skullface guy is clearly going to stop this. Skullface, every time he's going to do a crime, Skullface, who is Batman, just keeps going, maybe we shouldn't. Guys, have we thought about not killing those children?
What if we just changed our whole operation here and we were good guys for a while?
And Black Mask just keeps giving him looks like, who the fuck invited this guy into the group?
What the fuck is this?
Now, the new face of crime, however, Sean, there's two major things that really changed how Black Mask is viewed, and they were No Man's Land, first and foremost, and he becomes the new face of crime in Gotham. So he goes under an enormous shift in personality and modus operandi after Gotham had been cleared of No Man's Land, which is a big story in Batman comics. A big earthquake hits Gotham, whole place goes into disarray, all the criminals start taking over.
Pretty good.
It's really good. I might cover it on a big story-wide Hero Zero at some stage, Sean.
Do you know what, Conor? I'd love to hear such a thing on a future episode, perhaps.
Yes. So, like the other released Arkham inmates, he gathered a gang and he seized a piece of turf in the half-destroyed Gotham. In his case, the Fashion District. This time, however, he no longer wore his trademark mask. His goal was no longer money or power. In this story, he has like a nihilistic philosophy that claimed like Gotham's true face had been revealed by the earthquake, and he was then going to, he was going to kill anyone and disfigure anyone's face who was not upholding their true faces, if that makes sense. So like, if he believed you were having a false face, he would kill you.
Yeah, I see what they're trying to do, and that's an interesting take of like, oh, the city is revealed for what it is. It's always been broken. Everyone should just be as they are. That's all well and good, but just make him a guy with a mask. That's way cooler. They kind of go slightly away and then they get straight back to it. So there's a big part of that story where his followers and him just cut like a bloody fucking swath across the earthquake ravaged Gotham. Like, they're killing everybody. They're just disfiguring faces all over the place, right? And they're heading for the Gotham clock tower, and they're just murdering and facially mutilating anyone in their way on their way to the clock tower, which is still the base of operations for the police in Gotham at that point. Right, so you take over that, you control most of Gotham. Exactly.
And so they're on their way there. Oracle is also there, and she's like so desperate she's even going to shoot him with like a sniper rifle at one stage, because she's like, he cannot be stopped. He was actually inadvertently saved, however, by the intervention of the new Batgirl, who beat many of the True Faces into submission before publicly breaking Black Mask's arm. Upon seeing their leader humbled, the rest of the True Facers fled. A Batman soon arrived to take Black Mask to Blackgate Penitentiary. So he gets kidnapped that time, right? So that is no man's land. But then, Shaun, very quickly after that, the United States government lifted the no man's land policy, and they welcomed Gotham back into the Union. Black Mask returned to his traditional role as a mob kingpin almost immediately after that story.
Just straight back out and just like, I'm just Black Mask again.
And now he has like a whole group that he like goes with, like, and he has like his lieutenants and stuff as well. But they're not like the false face society anymore. They're more just like general mobsters kind of thing.
They're goons. They're hired goons.
He's got a lot of goons, right?
And he's based in the goon cave. It's great.
They're gooners. He ends up in East End, in the East End area, which is very crime ridden, but is now protected by Catwoman. So him and Catwoman get into a lot of fights at this point in comic books, and there's loads of different storylines that like you could cover, but there's like a whole storyline where him and Catwoman are constantly at each other's throats, and he's like capturing Catwoman's friends and like killing her friends and her sister and all this stuff, and it ends with Catwoman throwing him off, beating him up, leaving him disarmed, and like hanging from a balcony by one arm, and he begs her for help, but she doesn't help, and his grip breaks and he falls several feet to his apparent death. So
the word apparent there.
The reason why I'm not covering that story in such great length is because he was meant to be dead, but unbeknownst to anyone, of course, he survived his fall, and he spent the next several months hiding, planning his return to power. And the perfect opportunity arose when the big gang war kicked off, because Stephanie Browne, who I have done a report on, otherwise spoiler, she implemented Batman's War Games strategy in an attempt to impress the Caped Crusader. So another one of those stories that I will definitely cover, but very vaguely.
I'd love to hear it in a future Hero or Zero, Conor.
Please stop. I'm going to keep doing that for everyone you do for Marvel now too.
But we found a new bit, ladies and gentlemen.
So look, War Games, if you want the very quick rundown, is Batman has plans for every situation in Gotham. So, like he has the whole plan of how he's going to kill the Justice League, or how he's going to do this, or how he's going to do that. He's got plans and plans and plans. And one of his plans was called War Games, and Stephanie Browne, who was spoiler, was trying to impress Bruce Wayne Batman and be like, he'll accept me into the Bat family if I do his War Games plan, which will get rid of all the crime and all of the gangs in Gotham, and it'll be perfect. And she,
why hasn't Batman done it then?
So she introduces it, and it all just goes completely into chaos because obviously she's not Batman. And so she's trying to do it, but she's also only 16. So it kicks off. The whole entire place goes into chaos. And the crime lord, otherwise known as Black Mask, begins to build allies while keeping his own involvement secret. So he's meant to be dead at this point after the Catwoman storyline, but War Games has kicked off. And he's also now kind of behind the scenes building his crew. And they start to ravage Gotham, and he begins to gather information and just like use the chaos to murder his competitors, threaten others, just like start building allies quietly throughout as it starts to build. Because War Games is like a full-on fight between all the different gangs.
Right.
And Black Mask's machinations came to a head with his murder of the gang leader Orpheus, who was secretly an agent of Batman. And he was actually, his involvement, Orpheus's involvement, was what the whole War Games plan hinged upon. He had to be there for it to work because he was secretly a Batman ally. So he was meant to be eventually take over and become like the gang leader, and then he also secretly worked for Batman, so now there's no more crime.
Yeah. So like on the surface it looks like there's still crime, but like Batman is in charge of the crime now.
But Black Mask kills Orpheus, so there's no more Orpheus, and then he takes his place because nobody thinks Black Mask even is alive anymore, so he just puts on Orpheus's mask and he's just like, oh, I'm Orpheus. And at the same time he also kidnaps Spoiler, who he tortures and beats the absolute ever-living piss out of her until he gets all of Orpheus's role in the plan out of her, because he wants to know what he's meant to do in his next steps.
Beating and torturing a 16-year-old.
He is, yes, at this point, yeah,
Not
just to
nice
find
man.
out what's about to happen. I'm starting to turn on him. The crime lord was then paid another visit by Hush, who voiced his desire for a non-aggression agreement, and as a peace token offered Black Mask the location of the Batcave. So Black Mask is like, fantastic. So he masquerades as Orpheus, fooling Batman into thinking that the plan could still be salvaged, and even though it had gone wrong at the start, Orpheus is here, he wants to work with me, we can still make this happen. And so Orpheus, together with Batman, then took the plan into its final stage, gathering all of the surviving gangs into a large public area. The Robinson Park was selected, and the endgame of the plan was progressing pretty smoothly. Several thousand criminals, including the likes of Scarecrow, Killer Croc, Tweedledee and Tweedledum, they're all herded into this one structure, with the Gotham City Police Department reluctantly following Batman's orders, lying in wait nearby, ready to capture all of them at once. Right?
Okay, and if the original Orpheus was here, the plan's going perfectly.
Plans go perfect. As Orpheus came to the podium, however, he revealed his true colours and declared his intentions to kill all of the remaining competitors in there, along with all of his new allies, or with the help of his new allies, Firefly and Dr. Death, who began causing fires and killing people. Mass chaos immediately breaks out as the criminals, the police and all the vigilantes all begin to fight one another at once. And in amidst all the chaos, Batman was able to stop Dr. Death and unmask Orpheus, but the revealed Black Mask managed to escape with help from the Scarecrow. And he then returned to the apartment where he was torturing Spoiler, only to find that she had freed herself, and they had like a second battle, where in the end he shoots her in the shoulder and kicks her down a flight of stairs, telling her that she's free to run. He has no more use for her anymore. The plan has worked perfectly. She can go wherever she wants.
Really? Can she now?
Well, at this point, I would say she is one punch away from a coma and has been shot.
Yeah, so she's not going very far.
Yeah, she stumbles through Gotham in search of Batman, and this is the story, by the way, where Stephanie Browne dies in the comic books. So.
Whoa, spoilers.
succumbs to her injuries, but she comes back, don't worry about it. But that's fine. He soon travelled to Gotham's North End, having gathered a large mob of surviving criminals, and then he goes to the clock tower, which is where he was told is Batman's base headquarters. So he goes straight to the clock tower, and he's like, and he gets all of the gangs, everybody, all of the underworld are all behind him, and he's like, we'll go straight to the clock tower, and I'm going to fucking kill Batman. There's even a cameraman with him. He takes a reporter and Arturo Rodriguez, as well as his cameraman, as semi-hostages, because he's like, I want you to film this. We're going to kill the Batman and everybody involved in the Bat family.
And everyone's going to know it was me that did it.
Exactly. He bypasses Oracle's defences by just kind of using the other criminals as like cannon fodder to overload all of them.
Classic. He genuinely doesn't care about anyone.
Doesn't give a fuck. Soon after, the crime lord sent Rodriguez out of the building before shooting the cameraman dead and using the corpse of the cameraman as a tripod for the still rolling camera, of which he's going to then use to just film himself killing Oracle and Batman.
I'm back on board. That's fucking rad.
True to Black Mask predictions, Batman soon bursts into the clock tower, ready to finish it off. The two men, to Oracle's horror, immediately begin to pummel one another senseless, basically fighting to the death. And Oracle realises, oh, Bruce is going to kill him. Bruce is fully going to kill this guy because he's so bad. She then initiates a self-destruct sequence within the clock tower, forcing Batman to abandon the fight in order to save her, because she's like, he might do something he regrets at this point.
She's like, I'll blow up me, I'll blow up you. You just shouldn't kill anyone.
Because she knows Batman's going to stop fighting if it's like 10 seconds to explosion. He's going to he's going to save Oracle first. So Black Mask once again slipped away in the confusion as the citywide gang war drew to a close and Gotham began to rebuild. However, his gang, out of loyalty for its murder leader Orpheus, crowned him the undisputed king of the underworld. This is all of the remaining gangs. And he is now the undisputed king of the underworld in Gotham and runs everything.
That's class. That's exactly what he wanted, though, like, ultimately.
Yeah. That's kind of, if you've seen the animated movie Under the Red, or read the story, whatever way you want to do it, he is... like, that's where he's in charge. Then Red Hood comes in and starts slowly taking over his turf. But that's how he goes from rich boy who does nothing to criminal king, like underworld king of crime.
That's quite a cool arc, and like, it's sad, but like his crime empire is the only thing he ever did for, like, by himself that wasn't like handed to him.
Yeah, and he's much better at crime than he is at like running a company legit.
Yeah, I like him as like a fucked up mirror to Batman. That's fun.
Because in terms of his abilities, criminology, he's arguably the greatest criminal strategist and organiser in Gotham, having taken almost full control of the city's underworld on at least 2 occasions. So he's just as smart as Batman in terms of strategy, but he just does it from the opposite direction.
Yeah, he pumps it into how to more efficiently do crime.
Yeah, he's got like tactical analysis. He's a master of disguise. He's got marksmanship. He's an excellent marksman. He always uses 2 semi-automatic handguns, which is always cool.
That's fun.
He's proven capable of hitting even Catwoman in mid-air with little effort, which normally she's like flippy and just kind of avoids all that shit. He'll just shoot her straight out of the air.
She's like top 2, top 3 gymnasts in DC or something like that, isn't she?
Yeah, her, Nightwing, and yeah. So then you have hand-to-hand combat. I mean, he's been on par with Nightwing, Red Hood, Robin, Catwoman, Batman. He's normally... he's pretty good. Now, maybe he's not as good as Batman, but he's right up there with all the rest of them in terms of just hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah, that's insane. Like, to even be close to Batman is insane.
Yeah. And so that is my report on the Black Mask, Shaun. A character who might come up again.
I don't think so. I think that's the last we've heard of Roman.
That's the last time we see him.
That's my Roman Empire. It's a Roman Empire! That's his crime syndicate! Fuck! Conor, that was That was a very good report. Would you like me to take us out?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Thank you everyone for listening to this episode of Hero or Zero. We will be back on Monday with the Heroes for Hire podcast, Weird News, and next Friday with another episode of Hero or Zero. Big thank you to everyone who supports us over on Patreon. Patreon.com/Heroes for Hire podcast. If you want to support us over there, we'll see a bunch of you guys tomorrow on the live stream. And if you're not a patron, you can still get your invites, as Conor said earlier. Just message us on any of the social media platforms. There is also the merch store, heroesforhire.ie/shop. Twitter's @HeroesForHirePod, the 4 is the number 4. Facebook is Detective Divilment's discussion group. Instagram is Heroes for Hire Podcast. Blue Sky is Heroes for Hire Podcast. And the best way to ever help out the show is to tell one human being that we exist.
Just a one, please.
I think that's about it, Conor.
I think so. So I've been Conor Lawler.
I've been Shaun Now.
I shall see you all next week, guys.
Bye.
Bye.